What up, players? It's Warboss Tay up in this mode. Today we're going to start with the base coats for this guy, an Ogre Kingdom's Firebelly. Half an hour in, and we are only here at this point because there's so much to paint, there's so many different details, and yeah, we haven't even really, we've only just started scratching the surface, so stay with us, and this is the standard that we're going to work to by the end of this part 1 video. And let's see, what do I need to tell you? Oh yeah, the colors that you'll need are Rakarth Flesh, Tin Bits from the old range. I'm not sure what the new Tin Bits is, but that's what you'll need. Caliban Green, Mornfang Brown, Rhinox Hide, Storm Vermin Fur, Chaos or Abaddon Black, Celestra Gray, Bugman's Glow, and I actually think, is that it? No, there is also Leadbelcher. Okay, I believe those are all the colors you need for part 1, so stay tuned for part 2, and yeah, thanks for watching, hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so let's get started with this guy. Now, just to let you know, I have no idea how I'm going to paint him. I've got the Games Workshop product page up here, so if you hear me clickety-clacketing on my mouse, then I'm just looking at the picture and trying to figure out, you know, what colors are going to go where, when. And my goal is to try and get as much of the Games Workshop standard, I guess, as possible, and that's because I want people who are interested in painting up your Flame or Firebelly as the Games Workshop model, then you will be able to. So yeah, I'm just kind of clicking around because the Games Workshop website does not have a 360 view, which they do for a lot of their stuff, but I guess not for the Firebelly, so I'm kind of just going, I'm just like shooting from the hip, I guess. So let's see what happens, shall we? First color we're going to use is Bugman's Glow. What? Bugman's Glow. Oh my. Inside joke. Okay. I always thought, or not always, but I remember thinking the first time I used this on one of my models that this Bugman's Glow is just so red or like pink, and not really liking it. If you remember the old Talon Flesh, the model is, or the paint that goes on the model is a little bit more pale. There's less color. It's definitely not as ruddy looking, but now I found that after using this that it's actually, it's okay, it's not bad. Oh yeah, and I should mention in all of my videos from now on that when you paint, always prime your model first. You can't really tell because fine cast is so, you know, so chalky, light gray looking, so you can tell that I primed this model, but with my plastic models, the primer that I use is very similar to the actual color of the plastic, so it looks like I'm not really priming. A lot of people ask me on those videos, like, why don't you prime your models? And I say, I do. Get off my back, Mom. I'm just kidding, she doesn't watch these videos. I tried to watch one of your videos, but I just couldn't get through it. I just kept
breaking down and crying, wishing that you would settle down and marry a nice girl instead of spending all your time painting little plastic men. And I had to say, oh, Mom, how come you don't support my hobby? This is what happens when I don't force you to go to football practice. Alright, you've got a little hand there. I guess he's saving that for later. It's like a little drumstick. And on the model, it's when you look at the Games Workshop model that I think the painter Anya Wettergreen, her name is. I know she painted the one in the Ogre Kingdoms book, I believe, and the one that they used for the White Dwarf article, but I'm not sure if she painted this one as well. But what I mean to say is that it looks very pale, like white, like it was frozen, and that is one thing that I'm not going to paint according to the Games Workshop style, the heavy metal standard, because I don't believe it would be. I mean, it looks like almost like pure white, and I am not really a fan of that. So I'm going to paint it up a little bit lighter than the Ogre's skin tone, but we're gonna start by basing it in Bugman's Glow, just like everything else. My mom sound kind of like Lewis. Random musings. Okay, and then now I'm gonna get to his hand with the flame right now. When you look at the Games Workshop model, you see that he's got this bandage wrapped around his bicep, and then he's got like his hand kind of amongst the flames. You see his arm here, and then the flames kind of start by his elbow and wrap around where his hand should be, and then you can see his hand peeking out from inside the flames. And it's really a really awesome concept, and the sculpt for this is really cool in the fact that whoever the sculptor was sculpted, I mean what I would have done is I would have imagined and drawn out and sculpted the hand, and then kind of figured out where the flame would go in around it. And I mean, it's really cool. You've never really seen anything like it in a Citadel Games Workshop model before. So now, because we're just starting and we're going to be painting the flame separately, or you know, once the skin is all done, you can really just go in and paint whatever looks approximately where the hand would be, because the flame, the spout of flame is going to be painted completely differently to show the contrast. We're going to use the oranges and yellows and reds. Unfortunately, is wearing some kind of mask, and I say unfortunately because I would have love to paint his face. One of my favorite parts about painting ogres is painting their faces. They have a bigger surface area to paint those faces on than regular human-sized troops, and it's just more interesting, I think. In fact, if I were to paint another one that was not on these, that was not, you know, strictly adhering to the Games Workshop style, the thing that makes me think about Firebellies, or when I think about Firebellies, the real world close equivalent I can think of are Samoan fire dancers. They dance with fire on these two sticks, and they spin them around and then they swirl them around, and then they hold them up to their mouths and make it look like they're eating the fire, and then near the end, or at some point during the fire show, they spit out oil or something that makes the fire spout up like this. So it really, like when I saw this, I was like, hey, Samoan fire dancers. There's I guess, I don't know if you want to call it like a little, it's not an amusement park because there's no rides, but there's a tourist attraction here in Hawaii called the Polynesian Cultural Center, and they have this show in the evenings that has all these different Polynesian Pacific Islander cultures and their dances. They have this group of dancers that come out and do all the different kinds of dances from all the different places like Tahiti and Fiji and Tonga, Hawaii. And for Samoa, one of the things they do is this Samoan fire dance, and it is pretty exciting. They have like multiple people that are trained to do it, so the big finale is that they all come out with these, you know, with these poles that they're twirling around, and they've got fire on both ends, and they turn off all the lights and you can really see the fire spinning, and it looks just so cool. Alright, so you just want to make sure you turn your angle at all turn your model at all the various different angles so that you get coverage on all the skin as much as you can find it. Oh man, please tell me that this rip over here on his butt isn't like his butt cheeks. Boot. I don't know, but he's got this rip there. That is no wonder there's no 360 view. Whoever sculpted this model was like probably like getting fired. It's like, oh yeah, well, fire me, huh, Games Workshop? I'm gonna sculpt it so that you can see this guy's booty. I don't know, that just seems weird. Alright, so next we're gonna get on to, what can we do next? Okay, we're gonna get on now to painting the gut plate. I'm gonna be using tin bits, which is in the old color range, but just use the conversion chart on Games Workshop's website, or also Daka Daka Forums has this awesome conversion chart that my friend Nurgle's Nastiest, I believe, pointed me out to. So check out that one. You can just Google paint conversion chart Warhammer paint conversion, something like that, and you can find it really easily. Just look for the one that's under the Daka Daka Forums. Under here. Or else
also going to use tin bits, or the modern equivalent, to paint all the metal on this choppa back here, the sword, and the metal binding on the hammer that our boy is using. Alright. Next, make sure you clean off all of that tin bits from your brush. And we are going to paint, let's see, I still want to go with this. I picked my colors beforehand, but now looking at the model and comparing it, yeah, you know what, let's do it. It'll be fine, it'll be fine. We're gonna take, do I really, yeah. We're gonna take Celestra Gray, and this is what we're gonna paint the hammer with. Hammer time! The head of the hammer. Dong 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 dong. Dum 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 dum. Hammer time. Oh my goodness. Look at all this. Fine cast. Gonna have to go back in with a different brush. That's alright. I'll clean up the tin bits later. Just, this fine cast. Dum 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 dum. Take it, Lewis. My fine cast hits me so hard. I see the mold lines. I say, oh my lord. Lewis. Yeah? You're going to go out to the clubs again? Of course! I love to go out to the clubs and take my mind off of things. Just look at the hotties, sit in the corner, order my selfie,
vodka-tini or a nice sake-tini and just look at the ladies. You're a dirty old man, Lewis. Aw, shucks. Oh, I should change my brush. The thing about the Firebelly model is that if you don't like it, he's got this great two-handed hammer, right? And if you just like the model, despite, you know, any flaws in it, you can always use it as a man-eater armed with a two-handed weapon. So you still get a good value for your buck. Let's do a little bit more before we end this video, so before we end part 1. We're going to do Rakarth Flesh, and we're going to paint those bandages. Bandages and bones. There are a couple of bones I see on the gut plate. So we'll do those as well. We are not doing... Okay. We're not doing the bandages on the actual hammer itself in Rakarth Flesh. We are doing the bones on either side of the gut plate and in the hand as well, the bone popping out of the arm. Doing the little ropes that lead down to the fire beetle head, or the little, whatever you call this, cords. And the necklace too, I believe, yeah? Yeah, it looks like the necklace is supposed to be made out of bone, some kind of bone. Bone and silver. So the thick cord is supposed to be bone, I believe, and the maw shell, and the loop of little round things is going to be silver. I think I might have to go in and paint the silver off camera because it's so, looks like it's going to be hard to get in there, but I'll tell you what color I'm going to do it and I'll start it off. But I won't do that in this video. The last thing we're going to do is paint the cords on the hammer in Rakarth Flesh. This fire beetle looks like it must be one tough customer. It reminds me of a story of when I used to role play. I just realized that when I was uploading that last clip that I missed a couple of places for the bandages, and those are the 2 bandages around the ankles and around the sword back there. So I was doing that while the video was uploading, but you could do that now while I touch up. Oh no! Ooh, paint pot rolled off the table. I was afraid I'd have to take off my pants again while I touch up the skin. It's my Bugman's Glow. Oh, that was terrifying. Thank goodness. It landed like right in my lap, and the lid was half closed when it happened, so I stopped it in time from spilling all over me. Oh my goodness. That is not good times. So just make sure you use your rack art flesh to paint all of the bandages around the ankle, around the leg, and up by the sword. Okay, so next we're going to get on to painting the loincloth underneath the fire beetle head, and that is going to be painted in Caliban green. This one was a hard one because if you take a look at it, it's deceptively. If you look at the picture on the Games Workshop website, it is deceptive because it starts pretty dark near the top, and then it gets gradually more and more lightened up. So I was debating whether to paint it at its darkest color or at its lightest color as a base color, and then either highlight up or shade down, but I think it's easier to highlight up. I've noticed that my preferred painting method is to paint in what the darkest color would be, within reason what the darkest color going up to the highlight would be, and then just highlighting up rather than painting it light and then washing it or shading it down. So gonna paint the back part Caliban green. Sorry, Mr. Firebelly. Have to get in there. Gross. Alright, let's get back to my role-playing story before any other weirdness. Yeah, so I like to be the game master, to the GM, run the scenarios, run the games, because I like telling the stories. I like setting things up so that the heroes can work together to triumph and overcome, and everybody ends up having a good time. That's kind of what I enjoy doing. And next you're going to take your Chaos Black or Abaddon Black, and we're going to mix it with Storm Vermin Fur 1:1, which means 1 part Chaos Black, 1 part Storm Vermin Fur.
And so this one adventure that I was game mastering, that I was GMing, I guess, that I was running, the adventurers had to go through this dried up lake, and at the very bottom of it, you know, they're making their way through this lake, and it's all dried up, and there was a town there at one point, long ago, and so they're walking through this town, through the ruins of this town, and all these, you know, bloated, drowned zombies come out and attack them. I guess it was a town, there was a flood, and then it became a lake for, you know, some time, and then the lake dried up. But they're trying to get away from these townspeople zombies, and they managed to get away just in time, and then they get attacked as they're leaving the town by a bog octopus, which had, I don't remember what the adventure pamphlet said, what the book said, but I guess the bog octopus had come from further downriver looking for food, and then when the lake dried up, it kind of just got stuck there. Anyways, it's just chilling out, and the adventurers managed to wake it up, and it's really angry because it's stuck in this like marshy little place. And a bog octopus, I guess, could go on land. It wasn't stuck in the water, so it kind of chases them around. And oh yeah, another thing I did during the break was I took my lead belcher and I painted the pearls on the necklace, or that part of the necklace. So they're being chased by this bog octopus. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take Rhinox hide, and we're going to paint the bandages on the axe, or the hammer. So this bog octopus is chasing my party around, and they decide to run back into the drowned little village. And so they've got zombies chasing them now, they've got the bog octopus chasing them, and they barricade themselves inside a cottage, hoping that the bog octopus and the zombies will duke it out, and then they can leave. So the bog octopus is outside smashing up the zombies, and the adventurers are inside hiding, and then the zombies are all eventually killed, but the bog octopus is still hanging out outside. So everybody's like, now what do we do? And then just to spur them on, to get them moving, I started having the bog octopus sticking its, you know, tentacles through the windows and trying to get them to come out. So there the adventurers are. Tentacles are flying in and trying to get them out, and it was just such a great cinematic moment of the role-playing game, the session. And they were all screaming like, "Oh, what's it gonna take to kill this bog octopus?" And just for fun, I was telling them that, you know, there's like 4 windows or a couple of doors, and they're all trying to barricade it and keep the tentacles out, and the tentacles would break through one, and they'd have to run over and reinforce it, and then the one they were guarding, another tentacle breaks through and tries to swipe at them, and then I just had this mental image of the bog octopus outside, tying like a bandana around its head like the Karate Kid, and reaching in with tentacles, and the tentacles are armed with like swords and stuff, and chopping at them. I don't know why that story seemed so funny to me just now, and why I wanted to tell it. I'm losing my mind. Okay, last thing we're gonna do in part 1 is we're gonna take Mornfang Brown, and we're gonna paint the
leather belt that's holding his malo up. Malo is Hawaiian word for... oh, what would it be the Hawaiian word for? What men would wear to cover their naughty bits. M-A-L-O, malo. So this is always the worst time for me as a painter, looking at the model where it's like the base coats are going on, but they're all kind of sloppy still. All the base colors just look very flat because there's no shades or washes yet. So this is when we're really going to need to persevere a little bit more. Okay, we're going to take Bane Blade Brown, and we're going to paint the wood as well as the little baggie here hanging from his waist, and the straps of the choppa. I've never seen the back of the Games Workshop model because they don't show it. So I don't know if this is actually accurate or not. I'm just kind of going by what I think. Yeah. Let's go for the wood. So stay tuned. Part 2, we're gonna get into more of the base coats. We're gonna finish up painting the base coats, and then we'll get onto washes. And part 2 will really get into the beetle head, as well as the beetle hand and the gout of flame. We'll do the base coats for all of those, and then part 3 we'll get into the washes and the highlights. Last thing we're gonna do is, I see some parts that I missed, so I'm gonna take my Rackard Flesh, paint the little skull back here that's hanging from his wrist. Oh yeah, we're gonna paint this wristband. What color is this wristband? It's like dark gray black. And we're also gonna paint the little cord that is attaching the fire beetle hand. And it looks like that looks like about it for the base coats so far. And so, yeah, I'm gonna cut it here because it's already running kind of long for a video, and we'll see you in part 2. Oh, because I'm making this video in July, don't forget to check out Project One Gaming and like them on Facebook. Send them a Facebook message telling them your YouTube name, subscribe to them on YouTube, and you'll be entered for a chance to win a free Necron army in August. Oh my gosh, free army. Chance to win a free army, that's so awesome. Built up, painted, ready to get on the board and play 6th edition. Looking forward to that.
Alright, so thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in part 2 of how to paint an Ogre Firebelly. Latest, players!